Latin America has sort of the shared history of struggles with dictatorship, with colonialism, with political violence, and those are things I gravitate to as far as like stories I'm interested in. And, there's a version of this that could be written in Chile, in Brazil, in DR, as far as like we've had our dictatorship, we've had our disappearances, we've had our authoritarian governments that use torture to get results, I guess. So it feels like there's this common story there between Latin America. And I am really attracted to those.
What are your views on that? What are your views on power like that, in the sense of authoritarian power at all costs?
Well, power corrupts, and it always seems to be the beneficiaries seem to be sort of this elite group, you can call them 1%. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really become about the people of the country. And then a lot of these governments, their way to sort of silence the opposition is just straight up murder, disappearance, kidnapping. And a lot of that is kidnapping, disappearing, murdering young people in the arts, young people that are trying to have a different point of view. And I think maybe as someone that, works in the arts, I think that always sort of resonates with me as far as like expressing yourself through art and putting your life on the line. My parents both experienced, or in their childhood, dictatorship. Like my mom was around 10 when Castro came to power, and then in the Dominican Republic there was a dictator for 30 years, from 1930 to 1960s. So by the time he is assassinated, my dad is around 10, 11. So they have grown up in these systems, and I think it very much affects them to this day as far as like how they behave. Like my mom and dad are always like they're always like they don't want to share secrets with a bunch of, if they don't know you, they won't tell you. Like there's always like, well, you know who's listening kind of thing. And I think that all comes from that. And I think there's always,
because you gotta believe in the cults 100%.
Yeah.
And any defectors or anybody who is challenging it is called out and reported, and part of the cult is turning each other in too, right?
Yeah, and I have an uncle in Cuba who had to leave because he was talking about Castro and the government in a way that was, it was at a coffee shop, so it wasn't like he's rallying the troops against him, but it was definitely a dissenting voice, if you will. He ended up losing his job. He was a teacher at university, which was like his favorite job. Like he was just like, he really loved teaching. So he has to leave in like a matter of days with his wife and his young son, and they have to go to Spain. So that is my mom's oldest brother. So that is, you're growing up with that kind of thing that happens to you. I think there's a hesitance to like maybe express yourself fully in public.